Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And fear not, there will be no spoilers for either The Mandalorian or The Bad Batch, the newest episodes that just came out today. So, watch carefree if you haven't seen those. Anyway, let's get right to the news.
Alright, so we're going to talk about ratings, I guess you could say, and viewership for the newest season of The Mandalorian, again with no spoilers. We do have a new chart that came out from Parrot Analytics. I'm going to throw that up on the screen right away for you. It's the United States TV demand versus the market average, digital originals only. So these are only originals that come out on streaming services.
Okay.
All right. As you can see, Mandalorian is claiming the top spot from February 25th to March 3rd, which means only 3 days of Mandalorian are out. That is Episode 1. Episode 1 performed exceptional with 64.2 times the amount of viewership, just edging out Stranger Things with 62.2 times. Yes.
I mean, it did really well, exceptionally well, according to this, but not like break the internet streaming service world kind of thing.
Well, what Parrot Analytics looks at, they document an online presence. It's not exactly views because they can't measure those, but it's like social media posts and articles published and piracy.
Glad they measure piracy.
Because Disney Plus does not report their numbers ever, meaning other companies have to work a lot harder to put their charts and graphs together. But I find this interesting. I mean, yes, it's only 3 days of the first episode, but there's a lot of other things making waves on this chart that aren't even actively putting out new episodes right now.
Stranger Things hasn't, I mean, what was it, last summer? Or no, it was like Halloween, the second part came out, right?
I don't remember when the exact part came out.
But it's been months.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's been a while.
Though it does have Stranger Things is a beast, so... But you would think The Mandalorian is a beast, right?
Well, even The Witcher's still holding on this list, and they haven't had anything come out in even longer.
I mean, I guess without really fully grasping what that exactly means, like getting into the analytics itself, what are the details of all this? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what exactly that means. They're telling me it's exceptional, but it barely squeaked out over Stranger Things. I would think The Mandalorian would have dominated, right?
I thought it was going to dominate. It should have, by all.
I mean, it's the thing, right? It's the Disney Plus flagship series. It's Grogu, and everybody loves all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's watching The Mandalorian, right? Or not. Or they're watching Stranger Things or talking about Stranger Things still.
Well, and that show Ted Lasso is got number 3. That is about to launch its 3rd season, or if it just launched its 3rd season. So it's very odd to think that The Mandalorian just isn't higher with the percentage or times that it goes off of.
And then there's Picard in 4th, which I have been watching.
This season, yeah. This is the only season I
didn't watch the first two. I watched the first episode of Picard the first season, and I was like, And then I heard bad things, and I haven't watched it until season 3, so...
You didn't need the rest of it, I guess.
That's what I understood, and so far I don't think I've missed anything from the previous 2 seasons. But anyway, we're not talking about Star Trek, are we?
Not today. Not any day. Really?
Whoa. That was a...
Sorry, Star Trek fans. We just don't really get into that.
Yeah, we don't cover that here.
Let's continue on with talking about numbers for Mandalorian. Apparently, it's got a weak performance, though, on Disney Plus compared with other Star Wars series premieres.
I would have thought this would have shattered their records. Just making an assumption off... Everybody loves The Mandalorian, right?
I mean, it was like a cultural phenomenon over the last 2 seasons. Season 2 set records for the service, like all-time records.
Yeah, not that like all-time records mean something when you're a couple of years old, but yeah, nevertheless.
I mean, the trailer it broke records. It broke Star Wars records. But now, according to The Wrap, it shared some data that was collected by Samba TV. Mandalorian Season 3 premiere had a weak performance compared to other Star Wars Disney Plus series. I mean, it did do better than Andor by like 50% of the viewership.
Stings a little, but okay.
Well,
I mean, I love Andor.
I know we love Andor.
Well, I wouldn't say we. I mean, me and you love Andor, but I mean...
That's what I meant, was you and me, we.
But I mean, usually we're kind of talking about the whole collective of Star Wars fans, and sure, there's some who didn't like Andor, which is...
It's fine.
Fine, yeah.
Don't have to like everything.
No, you do not.
So it beat out Andor by about 50%, but it trailed behind Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere by 28%.
This is outrageous.
And Book of Boba Fett by 2%. It even fell behind the Loki premiere by 35%.
Whoa. It didn't beat Boba Fett?
No.
How did it not beat Boba Fett?
No. It says 2% was behind Boba Fett.
I mean, I kind of understand Kenobi. Plus, Kenobi had like a 2-part premiere. I don't know if that plays into any...
Have a big 2-part premiere. It came out earlier in the day. It's Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not surprised that Kenobi, especially right out of the gate, was breaking records or doing extremely well. It's Kenobi. But Boba Fett, Boba Fett don't get me wrong, Boba Fett's a huge character as well. But I would think after, 2 seasons and starting the 3rd season of Mandalorian, it would be just huge.
Well, to get some more numbers in there, because everyone loves numbers, Kenobi was viewed by 2.14 million U.S. households in the first 4 days.
So that's households. That's not views on the show itself, because there are 2 episodes. So you could almost say, okay.
Mandalorian Season 2, 2.08 million households. And Book of Boba Fett was 1.5 million.
So we're talking like a 25% drop from...
If it's 2% behind Boba Fett's 1.5 million, yeah.
That's significant.
That is very... Season 2 of Mandalorian had 2.08 million. It's behind that. And Boba Fett. It's a little alarming, honestly.
Is it because the first episode didn't get that word of mouth?
Maybe.
Is that what it was? People were like, because let's be honest, not everybody's like on the edge of their seat waiting for Mandalorian to come back.
Well, and it could also be because of Book of Boba Fett. Because so many news articles and everything came out there going, hey, if you didn't watch this, you might be behind. If you didn't watch this, which could turn off viewers.
It could.
If I heard that a show that I watched for a couple of seasons was like, oh, they put this in this other show, I'd be like, well, I don't want to watch that other show, and I might be like, oh, maybe I didn't like this as much as I wanted. I don't know. If you lose some of the casual viewers, then yeah, you're going to be in trouble.
I don't know. It's interesting. Or is this just a result of Boba Fett and Kenobi not hitting the mark with a lot of fans? And like it or not, Andor not hitting the mark with a lot of fans too?
Right.
Is this just people not enjoying what they've been putting out there? And they're like, well, you know what? The last couple I watched weren't that good. Why am I going to keep watching Mando? They put the kid back with him too. Why'd they do that? I've actually heard quite a few people saying they're disappointed that Grogu and Mando are back together, which, as I've said before, just reeks of corporate intervention. Like, oh yeah, we can't have a season without Grogu because toys and T-shirts and everything else we have to sell.
Well, all this brings back to mind a quote from Jon Favreau that he gave in an interview before even the Mando premiere, when they asked him if it was going to break the internet or something, and he said, the goal is, I don't know about breaking the internet, but the goal is that we have enough things happen each episode that everybody wants to jump around the digital kitchen table and talk about and argue about and guess what's going to happen next.
See, I don't think episode 1 was the water cooler episode where everybody's like, oh my god, you see Mando last night?
Well, he said enough things happen each episode. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like you're really putting your all in. I just want enough to happen to keep it exciting.
Yeah, do you need enough? Look, you can have episodes that are quote-unquote filler or bridge episodes or maybe aren't as exciting. I know we always, we watch them one at a time, so of course we judge them one at a time, but in the grand scheme of things, not every episode has to be like mind-blowingly amazing.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a weird attitude to hear him say that they want to put enough in each episode to be talked about. Yeah, you do need each individual episode to be good, don't get me wrong. I'm not making excuses for bad episodes, but there are obviously going to be some that are better than others, some that serve different purposes than others when you have an ongoing narrative. You can't just every week have, bam, this was amazing, and we put all this stuff in there. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's kind of move on. We're going to quickly go over the Mando Mania reveals. Woo-hoo.
Oh, yes, Collector's
Corner stuff. First up, we got the Tusken Warrior from Book of Boba Fett, vintage collection from Hasbro.
Looks like Rey.
Well, the top half of it, yeah. A lot of Rey in there.
Hey,
but whatever, it's a decent reuse.
It's actually, yeah, I don't, as long as you can mask it pretty well, I don't mind the reuse so much. Like Marvel Legends irks me because there's like 3 different figure molds that they continuously use. I know it's more than 3, but
they've gotten a little better. But
yeah, it's not bad. But usually Star Wars gives brand new. No, I shouldn't say usually, but oftentimes they use brand new molds. But if you can get away with it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. And we also got to see the Black Series Tusken Chieftain from the Book of Boba Fett. It's funny how this is the Mandalorian reveals, but they're both Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Tuskens.
I don't understand what is going on. We've talked about it before. I don't want to go too deep into it, but why are we getting Book of and these aren't even like reveals. I'm pretty sure we heard both of these figures were coming. I know the Chieftain was in a pipeline reveal a while back, and it's not going to be released till like 2024.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, what is going on?
I don't know. And then the last reveal we'll go over is the Lego Star Wars Spider Tank.
Is that what
That's what they're calling it.
Spider Tank.
Yeah, it does come with a new version of the Darksaber. We got a little Grogu in there, got a Mando in there, and I think that's also a new bo-katan.
Why do I see the Spider-Mobile in my head right now? For those who, that's a deep,
it is
deep cut, as they say. Anybody who remembers the Spider-Mobile, props to you.
I love the Spider-Mobile.
I know you do. But no, that's a weird name for it. Just call it the Grievous Tank. Let's keep it real.
Then people would all assume it's Grievous.
Ooh, what if it is? His eye survived. I'm kidding.
His eyes survived, and it alerted the Empire when people came down there. Who knows?
But I mean, briefly, this is weird with Hasbro. No Season 3 figure reveals? We're
Not yet.
revealing Book of Boba Fett pipeline figures that are coming out next year?
Maybe Disney didn't think they could be trusted with advanced knowledge.
Well, it's not like you even needed, like, nothing. None of this would have been spoilers. You could have done some of these offshoot Mandos in the background. You could have, I mean, there's a lot of things you could have done that weren't spoilers or were shown in the trailer.
From previous seasons that we
something. Where are the Mando reveal? What is Hasbro's?
Mando Mania.
Wrong at Hasbro.
Here's Book of Boba Fett.
Like, we know we've heard about problems at Hasbro. You know, laying off people, but maybe it's far worse than we even imagined. I don't know. Maybe it's time for someone else to get their hands on the Star Wars license, see what they can do. Just as long as they keep doing vintage collection figures, which would be difficult because that's a Hasbro thing with the Kenner logo, which they own. But I don't know. Maybe it's time to pass it on and see what else somebody can do with it. I don't know. Anyway, that's all my rambling for today. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news. What do you think? What do you make of these numbers? I'm by no means an expert, so what do you take away from this? Is this a bad sign? Is maybe the Mando not what we thought it was, or maybe it's kind of losing some viewership? And what do you think about Hasbro? What is going on? Anyway, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.